Alright, so I'm currently trying to platinum every single type of EA game that there is out there, and if I can't do it before the channel hits 1 million subscribers, then my punishment is I have to platinum Fortnite, one of the longest, hardest, and most grindy games of all time. So make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Anyways, today I chose to platinum another racing game named Dirt 5. Now this game is a part of the Dirt series from EA, and I'm gonna be honest, I've never once played one of these, really seen anything from them, and I have no clue what they're really about, despite my initial guess of dirt racing, which I think is, a pretty strong one. But after I did platinum this game today, it really made me realize how many racing games EA has in their library. It's actually insane the amount of them, to the point where I kind of think that EA might be the real professional racist after all. But Dirt 5 has a total of 21 trophies, including the Platinum Trophy. It has a very large DLC trophy list, but I did not do that today because I don't ever do DLC. Yes, I do think I'm built different. However, this game is actually shockingly easy to complete, and it's almost so easy that it's kind of boring because the hardest trophy, which is to drive 1,000 miles, you can do almost completely AFK, and it left me in shambles to say the least. But stage 1 is to do these very easy, simple trophies that can be gotten without really any effort or doing anything crazy. Also, huge shout out to the guy creator Overloader Racing, who is also one of my homies from Discord that is super nice and chill. And if you guys also want to be super nice and chill, then join the Discord link below. This is not the last time I'm saying it. But the game Dirt 5 did begin with a little intro race, as you would expect, although it was much less tutorial based and very just go get 'em kid type style, which I do appreciate. I play upwards of 15 new games a month on the channel, and I'm not gonna lie, having to do tutorials every other day for the same or near same mechanics in games makes me feel like I'm in a mental institution. I also did try to get therapy near where I live because I'm genuinely losing it, and I found out that they don't even have any normal therapy places. I need a up kid also to go in. This is some bullshit. Anyways, the first trophy I did do was the plus 10 HRSPRS trophy. I think that stands for plus 10 horsepowers. Not sure why we need to abbreviate that, but I also do love throwing endless confusion into the media, so W developers. However, this trophy is one of the easy ones, obviously, and all you have to do is save a custom livery to your car, which is done by just customizing it and doing pretty much anything to the car. Then just make sure you save it afterwards and the trophy is yours. I then did another very easy trophy called Fast Cars and Fancy Cards, sounding like the new Luke Combs album on God. But this one was from customizing our player card this time and not the car itself. Doing this is even easier, I would say, and once I did just change one simple thing, the trophy popped right into my lap. I then went after the 2 trophies in stage 1 regarding playgrounds in this game. Now this is probably the only cool thing about the game that actually shocked me how well it's done. Playgrounds are the build it yourself mode, and not only is the first trophy from building and testing your own playground, very easy by the way, you just throw in one thing and then play it, the trophy pops. But playgrounds have like endless capabilities in this game, and it's what a ton of other games try to emulate and usually fail doing so. However, this game had some insane builds from people, and I can already tell that it was the shit when it came out. But the other trophy in this was called Everyone's a Critic from Rating a Playground. And to do this, you also have to play one completely. So I just kind of did the most popular one I saw on the screen when searching, and it was this very fun, honestly parkourish style event going up to the very top of the build. On the way up though, I also did get a trophy called Long Jump, which was just from jumping a distance of 50 meters, and I did it on accident, but I still got the trophy anyways. I then made my way up the build more as I was saying, and I actually ended up failing here and there because I was not by any means used to this game's controls and driving style, which is kind of my biggest complaint of Dirt 5. It has some of the weirdest mechanics and driving functions out of any racing game I've ever seen. After 20 hours of playing it and getting every trophy, I still feel absolutely zero confidence in turning a corner because of how much you slip and slide around the terrain of the game, regardless if it's dirt or road. It just feels so off, it's hard to describe unless you play it yourself. But back to the trophies, I did end up finishing this playground mode, and then I rated it, and the trophy popped exactly as it was meant to. So I then began stage 2, which is the real big portion of this game's platinum and just the game in general. We have to complete the entire career mode and finish every single race or event inside of it. You do not need to get 3 stars in every single event, which is nice because that makes it very easy. Although it does also make it very boring because it means that we essentially just need to finish everything in general. And by everything, I mean a total of 125 career events spanning across 5 chapters. These chapters don't really mean much besides some interior attempts at story building, but there's 0 cutscenes, so the villains or rivals we have are just voices. Voices in our heads. The story of my life, let me tell you. But as you play through the 125 career events, you do a variety of races, drifts, events, and even some time trials that are absolutely disgusting, by the way. The time trials in this game could have been so fun, but the cars you drive in them are way too fast for the terrain, and I almost broke the game by how hard I crashed a few times. Anyways, the first trophy I got in this stage was from completing a 100-meter drift, actually. And as I do go through these trophies, pretty much every single one of them was on complete accident, which is kind of nice for once. I'm currently working on the new Mafia games platinum, and almost every trophy in that one is done on purpose, and it's low-key ass balls. I'm waiting for the collectible guide, by the way, before that video drops, so it should hopefully be soon. But here's that trophy trophy from the 100-meter drift, by the way. I then played for like 20 more minutes of the career events. Most events only took like between 2 and 6 minutes to finish, so no marathons if you know what I'm saying. But I ended up doing every type of event there is for a trophy called Jack of Trades. This has gotten naturally as you do play through the events, but there is a total of 8 event types in the game, and I'm just gonna list them all out because we gotta find something to talk about in this video. For f***'s sake, this trophy list is more boring than my high school girlfriend, Jesus Christ. So we got Ultra Cross, consisting of standard off-road circuit races. Then we have Gymkhana, being the timer and a drift score requirement reached by drifts and other tricks type event. Rally Raid, which is a standard point A to B kind of race with no timer, only a race completion percentage on the top left. Land Rush, being the circuit racing, usually consisting of around 3 laps. Icebreaker, having us do high-speed circuit races on ice. This is the most event in the game, by the way, because it's completely on ice, as you know, yeah. But then there is Sprint, your standard oval circuit racing, usually consisting of 5 laps this time. Stampede, a 4x4 off-road racing on harsh sandy terrain on various circuits. And finally, Pathfinder, time trial racing on extremely difficult courses with jumps, sloped hills, sharp turns, and roadblocks.
Life. There's roadblocks.
So with that all said, and me finishing every type of event, here's that trophy. That's probably my biggest word salad yet for a single trophy in my videos. Shout out to Kamala Harris. But with that done, I edged up on chapter 1's conclusion, and for every chapter trophy, you only need to finish one of the 3 major events at the end of the chapter before the next area begins. It's kind of weird how they do this, but it doesn't really matter considering all you have to do is finish one of them. And once I did do that, I got the trophy pop right here. And during chapter 2, I also managed to nail a grand total of 10 clean laps. Yes, this took me multiple hours to get. I have no comment on my driving performance in this game, not at all. But like I sort of mentioned a few moments ago, this game's trophy list sucks, and not in the usually hard or annoying way. It's just extremely boring. Like, there really isn't any trophies in it that are funny or fun to go for, and it kind of makes me sad inside. For example, the next trophy I got was just another chapter trophy. How fun. I can't believe it. We finished more events. Oh my god, give him his fucking medal. I'm sorry. I just wish this game was interesting. Back to the trophies though, I ended up making $1 million total in this game, which is another trophy obviously, and making money in this game is just done by winning events, the same function in every other video game alive. But after that, my next trophy called Stuntmaster was actually very hard, and this is in my opinion the hardest trophy of the game. You need to score 30,000 or more points in a career Gymkhana event. This is the drift, do tricks, point style event type if you remember, and scoring 30,000 is actually kind of hard, and it can only really be done on a single one of these, which has the best type of layout and time restraint to get a lot of points. Now the guide says a few ways to get that point goal or whatever, but I found them to be kind of odd and just weird to set up. So my strategy became just to drift around and through this route I found, which had a lot of other things you could do to boost the points with. But honestly, if you just spam drifting over and over and don't f up, it makes getting 30,000 points not a challenge. And here's that trophy once I did do this, and I scored well over 30,000. I then just kept on playing events, and fun fact, every other trophy left is just from completing events. And then the 1,000 miles trophy, obviously. This game's trophy list legit resembles British food cuisine. It's immaculate. So here is the chapter 3 trophy. 4 hours later, and my soul leaving my body once more, the chapter 4 trophy popped. And about an hour and a half after that, I also unlocked all of the throwdowns in the game, which are just extra events given to you from completing other events. Whoever made this game must have used copy and paste like my videos memes. It's amazing. But then my next trophy was just from chapter 5, being the final chapter trophy. I did still have to finish those other events though, 4 more trophies. And once I did, I got the every career event trophy pop, and then the complete final event trophy as well, putting a nail in the coffin that is career events inside of Dirt 5. My 2 remaining trophies were then from reaching level 50 and driving 1,000 miles in the game. And I chose to grind after level 50 first because I wanted to get that out of the way with before the 1,000 miles, since that takes much longer. And I just grinded out this same event over and over because it only took like 1:40 to finish it, and it gave around 200 XP every single time you do finish it. But the event was called the Hans Circuit, and it was an ice event. Purgatory is just my life now. I am drifting away. But after I did this for about an hour straight and got to level 50, the trophy popped, so all that remains is the final 1,000 miles driving trophy. Now, fun fact, this trophy used to be like a lot more from what I understand, and it made this game take a lot more time or some insane amount. But they changed it, which is kind of funny, you know, probably due to people's bitching, so hey, it works, I guess. But getting this done is very straightforward, just drive 1,000 miles for that matter. For some insight into how long this does take, I finished every other trophy with around 400 miles driven, so not even halfway. And upon seeing this, I did use that AFK method, which was by taping your controller's trigger down. You can follow my Instagram below to see more insightful posts like this one, and toes if you're into that. But again, for some insight, using the AFK method is very easy. I never crashed once or had any issues with it, except for a major piece of info that would have been super nice to be flagged a little sooner. If you leave the playground early without actually finishing by driving to the finish line, nothing you do counts at all. And I found that out the hard way after hours of this method. I think I'm gonna fucking crash out. But I returned to do the AFK method again after playing playing Mafia Old Country all day and night. So I just left the AFK method on and I walked away to take a nap. I then ended up sleeping for 10 hours straight, and I woke up the next morning to find that I got the platinum while I was sleeping because I left the game on so long it timed out the playground. But that technically counted as finishing it, so it counted my miles and it gave me the trophy for 1,000 miles and also the platinum trophy, but both of them popped off of my recording. I seriously can't win anymore. But yeah, that was the Dirt 5 platinum trophy experience. One of the most boring trophy hunts for a racing game I've ever done. And it almost makes me feel dirty because this game has so much in it to make a fun trophy list out of it, but they just chose to go down the most dry and gray route possible. But yeah, that's all for today. I am also going to be posting some new games that have recently came out on the channel for my next few videos, by the way, just because I am kind of bored of EA games right now, and yeah, f my life.